And we've just started the recording.
Yep. So this is my office slash garage, brother.
Nice.
My
That's so good, man. Really good to see you too, eh?
yeah, brother. Really good to see you too, man. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's getting a little bit.
gonna get heated.
I believe so. Hang on. I'm just gonna crack up in my garage.
Yep, makes sense.
How's your day anyway, Josh?
It's good, man. Did the family thing. Yeah, it's been pretty good, eh? So just I'll have time. Thanks for switching things up a bit. I'll have time to catch up with you, then do a little bit more of the family thing. We've got the elders coming around as well a little later. They just want to catch up with me because I'm elders quorum president, so they've just got to introduce themselves, I guess. Try and teach the elders quorum presidency how to stay psyched. What about you?
Me, I slept a lot today. I did a lot of sleeping. After I finished work, I went and caught up with one of my good friends. We had drinks and dinner with her and her family. And yeah, it was really good. Basically just needed a bit of a blowout just to like kind of relax and stuff. So when I got home, I literally just relaxed, played some video games, listened to an audiobook while playing video games, and just, yeah. I was living a very leisurely, I had an incredibly leisurely day. That's all I can say. But yeah, right. Like, honestly, audiobooks have been my go-to for like the last couple of months, man. You know, I can just having it playing in the background while I'm doing stuff, whether it's working out, gaming, or even just pottering around the house. So yeah, highly recommend it. So many different types to choose from. Hello?
Can you hear me, man?
Yep. I can hear you, Josh.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, all of my Bluetooth devices dropped out at the same time. So you said, so like after blowout, I lost, like the mouse froze, and then I was like, hold up, and then the headphones went out, and then couldn't use the trackpad as like first world problems. And then it came up and it's like, this internet connection is unstable. So it should be fun, man, seeing how this all kind of plays out. I'm
oh man, you got to love the NBN.
yeah. Am I on NBN yet? Yeah, I think I am. I think we're on the like slowest version of NBN because the copper was still old when they were setting it up here. So they built the house with an older connection or something like that. But no, man.
Can you get Starlink?
What's Starlink? I haven't heard of it before.
It's like Tesla's idea that basically uses satellites and stuff. My brother signed up for it. Let's say basically got like the satellite dish and everything, because where the family house is. Yeah, the speeds are really good. Like 150 down, 150 megs down, Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Which is kind of nuts because in my head I'm trying to think, how do they even manage that? But yeah, look into it. See if it's available in Perth. But
yeah,
I mean, I think as an alternative, yeah, I mean, there is a large down payment, some front up costs.
Okay.
But in terms of just the quality of service, it seems really good, really easy to set up as well.
Awesome, man. No, that sounds cool. I'll definitely look at that one. That's called Starlink, is it?
Yeah, bro, Starlink.
Cool. No, that's sweet, man. Hey, so shall we fire this up and then just start swinging?
Bro, we'll just go with the flow like we always do, man. Like, far out. So many things to talk about. I will say one thing that is on my mind is, just want to warn the rest of the audience is that I will be loose with my profanity at times because I have to be honest.
Fair enough, bro.
Capture my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Nah,
bro,
you
the whole,
might as well be straight up, bro.
what is up with fucking Netflix and these lame anime adaptations? I cannot believe that they went ahead with flipping Cowboy
Yeah.
Bebop, bro. I'm so angry about it.
It wasn't the
I mean,
best,
I was
was it?
angry when they announced. Well, see, I saw the trailers and I'm like, dude, I don't know. Okay, little bit of context. I love all of the work from Shinichiro Watanabe. Him and his team have always been amazing. Like, you've got Cowboy Bebop, you have Samurai Champloo, Kids on the Slope, Space Dandy, which is one of my which I think is severely underrated, Space Dandy. But the fact that they even, I mean, thing is, I just get the feeling that again, it's another cash grab. It's not an adaptation that's being made by somebody who loves the actual series. You know, I don't feel it's actually being made by a proper fan who understands what Cowboy Bebop is about. I mean, don't get me wrong, incredible opportunity for all of New Zealand's actors and production crews. You know, I'll never hate on that. But honestly, man, they just need to stop doing that to some of these amazing flipping titles. I mean, even if you contrast that with Denis Villeneuve's Dune, that remake was amazing. Oh, sorry, not that remake. That adaptation is amazing. That's how you do a flipping adaptation.
Oh, which one's that? Sorry, Doctor Stone. Did you say?
No. Dune.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, by Denis Villeneuve.
And my girls absolutely loved it. They're not into sci-fi, but when they watched it, they're like, "Wow, this is really cool." It's and they don't understand the backstory or anything like that. So what's great is it holds up against like movies, first time watchers, and like people like you and I who are all in. I was trying to explain to the girls, oh, you want to leave your harvesters on the rocks because when those worms come by, they're going to be gone, and they didn't quite understand the strategy game reference. So I was like, oh, okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like that's one of the things that I think is really, really important, and I feel is kind of missing. And I guess a lot of the drivers for a lot of these production companies is maximizing clicks and engagement so they can get more money, get more people watching. But the thing is, beautiful stories will always sell themselves. A good story sells itself, and if you can tell a story well, if you can capture what the story is and how people connect with those key themes, it doesn't matter how fancy it looks. People are going to feel it, man. So that's why I feel like the big difference between Cowboy Bebop and Dune is because as dense as the Dune mythology is, Denis Villeneuve managed to capture the core of what is going on there, so people could actually connect with it and relate with it. I mean, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Nothing ever is. But yeah, I was just like, I mean, also the fact that for me too, one of the big key things that I felt was missing from all of the marketing for Cowboy Bebop is where's Ed? where's Ed?
Right.
Ed literally I feel personally is that Ed was basically, for me personally, I think Ed is such a fundamentally important component of the whole series because the whole team humanity kind of is tied into Ed, having Ed and Ein as that balance because everything really starts. Okay, I feel everything's more a more deeper, thoughtful direction when they find Ed, when they recruit Ed,
Mm.
and then shit only hits the fan after Ed and Ainz leave.
Yeah.
You know, like that was outside the South. Like, you know, when Ed and Ainz leave, Ed has her own little mission with Ainz, and when she leaves, it's like, dude, everything just goes, like that's when the real drama. That's when the real drama starts. So you've kind of got like that. Yeah, I thought that was one of the things that was kind of missing. Like they want everything to look the same, but it doesn't feel the same. And yeah, it didn't have the jazz feeling, bro.
Yeah, it's always hard, man. You've seen it done countless times, where those creative differences are like they're pivotal. They definitely have broken more anime adaptations than they've made. And yeah, like sometimes for a lot of these adaptations as well, the only kind of takeaway from them is, oh well, it's awesome that at the very least potentially more people will know a random spin-off of what used to be the the actual series, or what was related to the actual manga in this case, or anime in this case. But yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, man. I was yeah, pretty heartbreaking. I still have to bring myself to watch it. The trailers, I really felt for my friends because my friends are like, "Lie, look, it looks great," and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm trying not to get too hopeful because I don't I can't recall. I don't recall. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head any amazing anime adaptations that I haven't, live action anime adaptations that I haven't seen. I mean,
I can't think of one that's
like,
I can't think of one that's been pretty accurate to the source, to be honest with you. I mean, it's few and far between, at least.
Dragon Ball was really good, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. Oh, mate, Dragon Ball wasn't that the one that kind of set the tone for everything else?
Like if the tone was a brown note.
Hey, it looks like my camera's gone down.
Your camera's.
Yeah, I think we're having technical difficulties there, but we're still going to just roll with it. Today I'll be
good. We can
Tuxedo Mask, Mysterious, all in black. What about Gantz? That wasn't too bad an adaptation for a fun experience.
Yeah, I think from what I remember from reading the manga, I do remember that particular chapter. I mean, it's really focusing on one particular portion of that, but I think there's so much more kind of captured in the manga. I mean, you know, the whole gratuitous, brutal violence aside, you've got some real what's the word? Darn it. The word's literally fallen out of my head. But basically, just, you know, existence is kind of futile. It's not as cracked up what it, you know, what everybody thinks it is. So, you know, you just, yeah. So, yeah, Gantz was nuts, but at the same time, like, it doesn't, because, yeah, some of these adaptations don't, they look amazing. Some of them look amazing, but I kind of miss the emotional gravity of what's going on. Because if you don't have like the kind of emotional gravity or the stakes, or if people don't have any kind of context into why these people are fighting, or if they can't kind of connect with them at the intro, if you see them die, there's no real kind of sense of loss. You know what I mean? You don't feel any. You don't really kind of feel anything.
No, 100%. I think
just, you know.
I think a few that I think hit the visual cue but missed the mark for everything else were the likes of like Attack on Titan, for instance. I mean, you could argue that there are some portions of Rurouni Kenshin that were pretty good, but I'm sure there's also people that are on the other side of the fence saying, no, it wasn't that good. I did. Have you ever read the I Am a Hero omnibus?
No, I Am a Hero. That's the is that the manga artist who
That's the
basically
one.
draws himself as the hero? Okay, I've seen it, but I need to actually read that. It's actually on my long list of titles. I need to work my way through. Yeah, but now, bro, tell me a little more about I Am a
Oh,
Hero.
bro, it's so crazy, eh? Like the entire context is him being a manga artist, unappreciated, really not doing well in life. If there were alpha and betas, he would be neither. And then at the turn of whatever happens in terms of this pandemic, everything goes upside down, pear-shaped, and just through a series of random events, yeah, he slowly moves toward that position, of being that hero. So it's pretty fascinating the way he does it. And so I won't do any spoilers, but all I can say is that the manga is definitely worth reading. And for me personally, but I'm kind of an easy play, to be honest with you. I found the movie to be excellent. I thought it was a really great adaptation for what is obviously a movie at the end of the day. You can't condense, entire volume very well. There has to be sacrifices, but yeah, personally, I think for what they did with the time they had, they did excellent. And the style and the graphics really helped sell it. Similar to how Train to Busan. Well, I think it was actually much better than Train to Busan in terms of the representation of. Yeah. Because Train to Busan, still remember.
That's a big claim, man. Because like Train to Busan is pretty much the that's emotional heavy hitting right there with Train to Busan, man.
Oh yeah, emotionality. I think there might be it might not level up there, but in terms of the CGI, it goes above that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend checking out the manga, and then after the manga, checking out the movie. Oh, bro, one of my girls, Alyssa, she's just had a
order
blast.
of operations.
Yeah, definitely do it because my kids have just started picking up and then getting into them, and yeah, they're just vibing on it. Parasite also wasn't too bad. Like I found that was okay for what it had to be across the two movies, in my opinion. But yeah, what are your thoughts when it comes to that one as a manga to cinema translation?
I watched the anime. I haven't seen the live action because I always kind of find I think one of the big things with a lot of the adaptations, especially when they try to use CGI or the cuts, because the actual editing, they can't, because a lot of anime has, one of the reasons why anime is so impactful is that you've got these beautiful jump cuts, and so just a couple of frames to let you know within maybe about a second or two what the kind of direction of the action is, what kind of tension's there, and then how you've got the payoff. But a lot of times when they try to do a live action version, instead of like the jump cuts, it's usually like a long cut, and because it's a long cut, it doesn't have the same kind of tension. So, for example, when there's the guys where that lady gets her head bitten off, and the manga or even in the anime, like the tension built up over just a couple of cuts, and then the actual chomp is just, you don't actually see the actual chomp. It's like a instantaneous snap, and everything's, like that. But with the live action, from what I saw of that particular scene, it lingers so long that you kind of, there's no more suspension of disbelief. So it kind of pulls you out, because it kind of pulls you out a little bit. So I think for me, that put me off a little bit, and I think just my general kind of approach is I find it really difficult to watch or to even watch live action anime adaptations in general. So yeah, in all fairness, I should watch the live action anime adaptation, but from what I've kind of seen, I just kind of like, Yeah. Probably one of my key gripes. There's maybe I'm too much of a stickler for how the manga or the anime might have pulled it off. Yeah, if that makes sense. But I will say, like, you have a really good point. I think it's just trying to find that. I mean, if they, I don't know if it's even possible if they can kind of replicate the same kind of cinematography or the same kind of visual process or communication that they do with manga. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we did have a few seconds of you dropping out a little bit there, but the gist of it was really clear. And look, I'm always a skeptic. I really need things to, especially when it's my baby, I need it to come out really well. If I don't, then I feel, you know, dejected and a little bit betrayed that this thing that's really precious
angry.
to me is taken away from me. Okay, so anger's a good one. That's one of the ways to work through things. But yeah, that's what
I'm reasonably angry.
Yeah, that's why part of me is hopeful that we will never have a Game of Thrones level production of like Naruto in my time, because I may not like it.
Dude, I think they should just leave that alone, because I don't even know
Thank you.
Anybody, they just shouldn't, you know. And you listen to some of these, you listen to some of these executive producers that when they interviewed the executive producer for Cowboy Bebop, and I was just like, dude, I'm not sold that he's even watched the darn thing.
Yeah,
They've never actually watched them tell any of the stories, you know. And again, I'm going to compare it to Denis Villeneuve, who directed Dune. It's a completely different feel when you listen to this guy who read the book as a kid, like 14 years old, and that was one of favorite being a film director. So it's a completely different set of motivations. Whereas you've got, hey, we need something to, you know, get more eyeballs on the screens. Don't have any fresh ideas. Hey, let's remake Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop seems really popular. What's this about? Like, it's the kind of stuff like that really annoys me. I mean, even if I were an executive producer and I didn't know anything about it, I'd at least ask the fans of the community, like, just, hey guys, tell me more about this. I don't quite understand this. What are the key things? And I don't know if they actually had that conversation.
At the very least, right?
I don't have to even, at the very least.
Yeah, I know Michael Bay. Remember when Michael Bay did those rounds where he would go out to the fan base for Transformers at the very start, and then he would also do it privately. But he was really looking for, you know, what he needed to hit in terms of certain beats. And it's interesting because he kind of took it and he didn't hold true at all to the design, because the design just wasn't practical. And he
didn't look good at all.
Yeah. But the rationale does, to an extent, make slight sense when you consider, okay, cool, the basis for the design has to be something extraterrestrial, but also it has to be so complicated as to not make sense to us. So we're just going to throw every little piece of 3D object into every other piece magically, exactly like they used to when they had Optimus Prime change and his hands would magically appear out of the headlights. No, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah. It's like hook and then full fist.
Yeah. But see, again, you know, if we compare that to the Bumblebee movie, I forget who the director was, but I think he's the director that said, why are all these movies falling out of my head? All these names. But anyway, the way they did the Bumblebee movie, like the opening scene of the Bumblebee movie. Have you seen the Bumblebee movie?
Yeah, it holds up really well, man.
I know. That's the Transformers that we need. That's the Transformers I want to see moving forward.
Yeah.
They need to get that guy to do it, because holy shit, I was like, bro, I literally teared up because like my little 8 and 9-year-old self was like, oh my gosh. This is what I was needing this whole time.
And it's like, it was basically the Autobots version of E.T., right? It was just perfect.
Yeah.
Hitting all of those beats, and then I mean, we've seen great stuff come out, and we've seen stuff that we thought was great that turned out not to be great, and then we've seen terrible stuff come out first, like at first bat. If you think about the very first, say, like if you wanted to use X-Men as an example, like the X-Men movie, kind of branching into superheroes, and I'm not saying it was the first, but you know, it was the first of that kind of age, if you will. Even if Blade was before it, and Generation X as well. I'm not too sure if you ever saw that one, but that was kind of the start. Yep, and Gen X was pretty awesome, especially by the end when they revealed their new uniform. But like all of the stuff, you have martyrs along the road, right? Along the way, you have people or IP that comes in that first version, and then you're just like, oh, it was okay, but really, like 20 years later, you're thinking, oh, that was a bit squinty-eyed, uncomfortable. But it did set a tone, and they opened the doors that needed to be opened at the time, so that you can kind of evolve and have people think, well, that was trash, we could do a lot better, and then that's how you end up getting Iron Man. Or that was trash, we can do a lot better, and that's how you end up getting like the Dark Knight series or Guardians of the Galaxy, or any number of ones that have kind of really worked well.
I guess even that too could be seen as kind of a creative process where, you know, you start with an idea or a concept. It might take first time, but then somebody's like, hey, actually, I think this has a lot of potential, and they build on it and they improve on it. I mean, I think for me personally, like for use Marvel as an example, for me, I think the movie started getting significantly better once the Russos did.
100% agree, man.
Winter Soldier is like, oh my gosh, they literally, like again, you know, directed by actual fans, or at least people that I feel had a better grasp of what the actual themes were. Because I'll be honest, a lot of the times there's a lot of stuff that I'll see where I think maybe, you know, I'll just have like a surface level of understanding, but then, you know, it's like the kind of thing when you have a chat with somebody who's actually invested, or somebody who goes deeper than the actual fight, and then has an understanding of what the characters' motivations are, or what their drives are, and what their conflicts are. And so that was one of the things I fucking loved. Like Captain America, you know, his whole idea, you know, the change from him seeing himself as Captain America to being Steve Rogers, I thought was quite dope. Like, especially when he finds out that, you know, Hydra had actually kind of infiltrated everything, seeing himself more as a tool of oppression kind of thing, where he's,
agreed,
you know, like a lot, there was a lot of gray. And like for me, it felt like that movie felt more like a spy movie, more than it did an actual we're heroes and he's the bad guy because ABCD. You can realize that, you know, those alliances, or at least the line that separates good versus evil, or good and bad, is a lot more blurry, and it's not always as clear cut. So yeah, I was like, "Fitch, man, Winter Soldier was so fucking good."
Yeah, I loved it, and you're right. It was 100% of itself a standalone spy movie. Like, you could almost get away with having not seen any of the other stuff, and awkwardly through the beginning of it meander, only to come out the other end being like, oh, this actually makes legitimate sense. Like, it makes perfect sense how this went, and it's fairly rational. And yeah, it was the next level in terms of complexity. And the Russos are, you know, I think it shows as well. Combining two heads is always better than one when you get the right heads. And so, yeah, I don't think you could have got a better outcome with Winter Soldier, just to flip everything on its head. I seem to be saying head quite a lot at the moment. But yeah, just to really challenge that status quo, right? Which is why that was a great setup for the next kind of wave. And yeah, everything crescendoed into Endgame. And I will always, I think, take the lead or take the page from Marvel versus DC, when it comes to how important it is to pace yourself leading up to that final
Yeah.
act, right? We've seen what happens when you
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, well, well, if you look at everything that happened with Zack Snyder, and I'll be honest, the first Justice League and Batman wasn't really a big fan of, but dude, I loved when he managed to pull off with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like that, really. Like I really dug that. But the thing is, it always confuses me because DC for years have been making amazing animated movies.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're talking to the dudes that made these movies.
Thank you.
Make a live action version. It's like with Star Wars, right? So all of the most recent Star Wars, whatever your opinions are, I think it's clear that they should have got Dave Filoni and his team to direct them. Because when you look at what he's done with The Mandalorian, he did the writing for for Clone Wars.
So he understands the lore. He gets it.
Yeah, he gets it, but he also gets the key things. But he's also about knowing how to tell like a comprehensive story.
Yeah.
And so you don't get that because with the most recent Star Wars films, it's like, oh well, they plant all of these seeds, but then it's like halfway through the second movie and towards the end of the third movie, it's like fuck your plants. Out of the blue. And I just got so flipping mad. Like, I got so angry. I got so annoyed. I can understand why other people are angry at it. But I'm not angry at like any I'm not angry at the actors or anything like that. I'm just angry with the direction that the storytelling, and some of those choices that the directors made. So yeah, I was just like,
it's a classic. It's like, a classic problem too, right? Like when you're looking at the challenge of corporate interests versus creative direction, and then that's how you end up getting these people that leave productions partway through. Like you saw that with the two cats that were working on it wasn't Doctor Strange. I forget the movie now. But they were removed. Oh, Star Wars. Oh, Solo, the Solo film. And then they went on to have a massive bounce back with Spider-Verse. But like some directors just walk away. Like, was it, I forgot the name of the director for Doctor Strange. He walked away because, it was going to be pushing the envelope too much. And, Marvel ended up making a decent movie out of the, the leftovers. I'm not too sure you could say the same thing for Solo, but I wasn't highly invested in it. I can only imagine the amount of pressure that Zack Snyder was probably under when all the corporate cats looked at it and thought, oh, wow, we can really make some money here. Let's put the squeeze on it to meet certain objectives or outcomes. And people got paid, but the cost of it was really bad brand value for a period of time. Is that now just out of curiosity turning into like, any news is good news? Is that something that's serving them with the Zack Snyder Cut being in circulation, or really no, there has been a lot of damage that's been done. It was a bad move and it's going to stick to them. What are your thoughts?
Well, see, the thing is, I think for whatever reason, I think Warner Brothers or whoever are making those decisions. I don't know what goes behind the scenes, but my opinion is that they really caked it. And understandably, when you heard about Zack Snyder and just, the horrific personal tragedy that he experienced with the loss of his daughter, you can understand. But to think that, bro, you've got somebody, and again, I'll say this is the thing like that really made me angry the most, because I'd seen the Joss Whedon version, and so I thought, okay, Joss is going to come in and he's going to on whatever the themes or the beats that Zack had established, or whatever kind of stories that he had. But then when you watch the Zack Snyder version, as long as it was, like there are key moments where you're thinking, bro, I just felt like Joss Whedon was being a dick, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think he was a
bro,
hatchet man, eh? I think he
literally,
was brought
yeah,
in because
I
everyone dropped their
know.
nuts.
Oh, yeah, just to like shit on it. Like, you literally crapped on it. Like, there were so many freaking beautiful moments. Like, everything from Cyborg. Everything was what happened with Cyborg. Reason was Flash. Um, and even though, personally, I think Flash's spoiler alert, Flash's key pivotal moment is probably for me one of the most beautiful moments that I've seen in any superhero movie. Not just with the music, but just the whole time that he's trying to build up to that key moment, because he doesn't know how to fight, he doesn't know how to do anything, he knows how to run really fast, he has a good heart, a little bit creepy. I mean, yeah. Like, there's the beautiful parts, but there are like some real kind of questionable Zack Snyder moments. Like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean. But I mean, like, overall, it was such a superior film, and I also kind of think it also planted some really important seeds. As long as it was just such a better movie. And I think the thing is that Warner Brothers do themselves a great disservice by not embracing that movie, regardless of whatever kind of ideological differences you might have with the director. The fact is that movie was a fantastic movie compared to what they had put out before. And I think there needs to be a focus on like movies that are in stories that are being told well. Let people tell their stories, because, bro,
100% agree. Yeah, and now that I reflect on it as well, that movie really crapped on every other movie that came after it, and definitely impacted the good faith that was invested by a lot of people. The other thing that I think about as well is how terrible it's made Flashpoint Paradox, right? Like, there's no chance that they're going to be able to pull that one from the fire. Yeah, I can say that confidently. Like, it's just not going to be as good as Flashpoint Paradox could have been. Like, they laid the plan out explicitly for you to follow. All you had to do was just listen and like take all that trust equity rather than try and do something too new. What was fascinating is when Justice League Apocalypse came out, right? And that was really the ode to the original Justice League plan as laid out by Jim Lee, right? And all the storyboards and whatnot that he put together as part of Zack Snyder's original. Yeah, it's just so unfortunate that we won't be able to see, I guess, the second half of Apocalypse as a live action Zack Snyder film. I think that could have been incredible, scary, fascinating, and then you just miss out on these great memories to see the flesh and blood representation of what you've like looked at and awed over as a cartoon or as a comic book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly the point. Like the part where, and this is the thing, the fact that they managed to capture how terrifying Apocalypse is. I mean, how terrifying Doomsday is. I mean, when the boom tube opens and everybody's like standing there, you're like thinking, holy shit, this could actually be a thing. This could actually work. But whoever, for whatever reason, certain people won't swallow their pride. I'm thinking, dude, you make so much more money. Your motivation, like, fuck your pride. What's going to make you the most money? Let Zack Snyder finish his thing, and you'll make bank. Here's the ridiculous thing. Apparently, they won't even release a Blu-ray version of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Jeez. Don't want to validate it. Don't want it to get more sales than the original canon.
Dude, you're literally going to make more money if you do that. You literally have people that are invested, that are waiting, that are fucking on this. I'll tell you what, like, if I had $1 billion, if I had stupid Jeff Bezos money, I'd be like,
Amazon, come over.
I mean, this is the thing is why didn't they just take the leaf out of how well critically received the animated DC movies are?
Yeah, I know, man. I mean, oh geez, try something. Try to stick to something. I mean, come on.
I
Yeah.
know.
And so, no, I think that was, you know, what's going to be interesting is probably if we go to our first podcast episodes that we did in our first go around, volume 1. So this is volume 2. We probably have talked about the same thing, to be honest with you. But what's really cool, man, is this is a nice one where we've had a couple of things happen and not happen. The call, yeah, it's been awesome to kind of reflect on our consensus about how to stay true to the material, how to really pay attention to the audience. And so, you know, that's kind of got me psyched as well for our next one, which I'm really looking forward to. And you and I have thrown a whole bunch of ideas around about what we're going to talk about. So if you want to just recap for the one person who's going to be my mum, who will probably listen to this podcast once it's published, do you want to give a shout out to our parents and then just tell our mums what they can expect in the next episode?
Man, all I would say is I'll just be talking off the top of my head to maybe profanity and yeah, I might say some cringe things. So yeah, just apologies and forgiveness in advance. But
yeah,
I'm glad we can
when he referenced a blood nose mum, he's actually talking about hay fever.
Dude, I don't think my mum is gonna watch this, but I'll just be like, sorry in advance, mum. Sorry in advance. My mum knows me. I love her. But yeah, but I think this is a good start. I think I think it feels better that we just process as is and edit it, because it's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. I think there's an authenticity that kind of links to that. I think at the end of the day, our intention really is just we're just two brothers who are talking about stuff that's important to us. And to any potential listeners, just to feel free to join us. Feel free to share your thoughts, and come along with this journey. I think there's a lot of catharsis and just being able to get excited about the stuff that you get excited about.
Agreed.
What's the point of trying to be a cool dude? Let's just enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah. And that's what I'm fixing to do here, man. So like whatever comes up, and yeah, look, I think if we can give kind of a word of warning to anyone else, you can expect that no matter what happens, technical difficulties, jumping around, not being coherent, you can look forward to more of that in the future.
Oh, I know, man. I know, and
I love it.
Yeah, I think I like that. Yeah, we'll just be. Yeah, actually, let's do that, Josh. Let's just be completely unedited. It is what it is.
Sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's my little ramble.
All right. Well, for everyone, look, thanks for listening to us, and we look forward to having you listen again, hopefully, very soon.
No worries. From my garage.